morning, folks. We're going to do some artwork today. Give me a moment here to check in on my signal to see how we're coming through, if it's clear or not. I've got some really fast social media posting to do, and then we'll get to work here for about an hour or so. So, mic check, 1, 2, 3. And then we'll get to work here for about an hour or so. Mic check, Get my volume to. There we go. Is that sounding good? A little bit more of a delay than I expect. Sounding good? A little bit more of a delay than Yeah, okay, that'll do. Let's drop that volume down so it's out of the way. And I'm going to grab this link here real fast for social media posts, and then I'll get to work here in less than a minute. Hey, my name's Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And we're making an adventure for Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition in the Eberron campaign setting using the 5e24 rules. You can see the book cover here on screen. It's called Crystals of Mabar. It's for 7th and 8th level characters. We're basically running around the Carnwood of Carnath on the continent of Corvair, fighting necromancers, undead, and demons. They're trying to rescue villagers from being sacrificed to an evil ritual that creates a manifest zone to Mabar for necromancy and profit. So that's enough of a spiel. We're doing all the illustrations for the book. If you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here's a bunch of books I've already created on the DMsGuild. They all have free preview. Be welcome to check them out. Here's the full playlist of all 570 episodes of us creating this adventure. Cheers to that. But let me drop this down here out of the way. Excuse me. And then let's get this book cover out of the way and get back to work on this cemetery scene. So let's see, here's my pen. And there's something weird going on with Chrome extensions involving PDFs. On Monday night, I was trying to show the free version of the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book that we had created, and it had all these weird outlines around the illustrations where I know the size of the illustration was cropped to fit into the page properly to not overlap with text, but those crop marks are visible in the PDF. If I turn off the PDF extension in Chrome, I can't even see that version. It disappears. And the oldest and the most recent version prior to last week is still on the page. But if I go to Microsoft Edge, it shows up with the most recent version without any weird watermark outlines. So there's something going on with Chrome, and I haven't figured it out yet. So I didn't do anything wrong with the PDF. The PDF was built correctly. Chrome isn't reading it properly for some reason. And if I turn off the extension, I lose the most recent version I uploaded last week altogether. So I don't really know what the hell is going on with Chrome and DMsGuild PDF uploads. But I'm really happy that it's a browser issue and not a creator issue. So I just wanted to shout that out real quick because I was really perplexed. Like, what the hell was going on with that? And it turns out it's not my fault. And we love it when it's not our fault, don't we? So I'm going to take, let's continue working here on our environment. I feel like, yeah, this should be here. Good morning, guys. What's going on? Path to stairs is forever. I tell you what, man, our suffering is endless. Let's see. We have this going on, and we have this going on. This is the place to be. So let's grab. Yeah, some of these pieces take a while. The simple ones can end up with a lot of detail, and it takes a while. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know I'm not in a hurry. I'm just trying to create cool stuff, be consistent, and have something worth remembering. So, we'll see how everything turns out in the end. Yeah, so this should be, hold on, right proper. Let's try this again. I'm a little froggy this morning. Sorry about that, guys. They're like that. I don't know why it's not coming through on this lower thing. Pretty good. Let's go like this. That seems accurate-ish. Come through here like that. Okay, those two things are good there. Let's fix this like that. And then this goes like that. And this comes out here like this. Right? Yeah. And then this comes around here like that and then disappears from view. And that opens this up. Let's run along this and then there. Then we can blip there and then go here. Yeah, okay, this is working out. And then we can get rid of that. And we'll have to fix the gazebo top. Everything just baby steps. Actually, let's conceal the gazebo for now, and Enrica and the guards. And we'll fix this like that. It. Good. Okay, that goes like that. And here. What the deuce? How's going on? There we go. Okay, everything's fixed. Very good. Whingy little details. Let's grab this color here and fill that in. There we go. So what's going on, my guys? How's it? Hey, dentist went well. I have a bridge. If you go look at some of my early streams from this segment, we're on episode 570. If you go back to I want to say episode 200, you'll see me without four teeth in the front, and it looks like I bit a bone recently that chipped it here, and now there's a little bit of a wobble in the frame, but it's minuscule. They couldn't. These guys would not lie to me. They're like, yeah, that's tiny, minuscule, shouldn't be a problem. If it becomes a problem, let us know. But you should be cool. And I generally trust them, so I carried forth with swagger. I had to have my teeth removed because I have extensive. I had extensive bone loss due to. The word that I'm looking for is a gum disease. I had rampant gum disease because I didn't go to the dentist regularly in my 20s or 30s. and it just rotted away my gum line and my bone inside the gums. And so I ended up getting clocked in the face with a doorway, and it knocked out 2 of my teeth. And they're like, yeah, these guys, it was just a matter of time before they were gonna go. There wasn't anything we could do to stop that, but we can rebuild your grill. So they rebuilt it. It took 9 months for them to get rid of the teeth, hollow out the bone, put in replacement bone to fuse and to graft into my bone, and then to regrow or reform the gums around it. And while they did that, and then when the bone set, they put 2 pins into the bone as the anchor point, and then that took about 2 months to heal. And when it did, then they attached the bridge, and it's permanent. So it's honestly, it's amazing. I love it. My bottom teeth are really messed up. And eventually they'll probably replace my bottom teeth grill. They're like, that one's a lot more tricky because, food will slop out of your face because you don't have any teeth to keep things in. So if we can keep those teeth, let's try to do that. It'll make your life easier. And I'm like, okay, meow. And so they're like, yeah, well, there's that. This. So it went well. I also have toe fungus that got underneath my toenail, and I've been on antibiotics for months, like for 5 months now. I've been on antibiotics because once you get toenail fungus underneath your nail, you can't dig it out unless you cut off the toenail, and then scrape off all the fungus. So like, okay, an easier process for you instead is we're going to give you an antibiotic, a strong antibiotic, a general topical internal antibiotic that'll run until your toenail can grow out, because the antibiotic will kill the bacteria, but all the bacteria is still trapped underneath your toe. So to make sure that it doesn't reinfect your foot, you have to stay on antibiotics until your toenail completely grows out and you cut off all the fungus part so that you just have a clean toenail again. And I'm about probably a few weeks away from having my toenails be completely clear and clean again. So I'll be able to end the antibiotics at that point. Yay! These are good things. So I'm happy about that. I'm very, very happy about that. Here's the ground. Here is the distant. So thanks for asking. Yeah, things are going well for Philbo. Fill that in. Thanks for asking. Here. Fill this in right proper. What's going on? Sounds like you have tough medical ringer. That's really expensive, but needs met. The teeth for sure. The teeth were about $8,000 after insurance, so about $2,000 per tooth. That's not horrible actually. And the medical stuff, it's like copay and purchasing some cheap pills. That was a nothing issue. But yeah, medical shit can be expensive in America. It's rough. Ground. Actually, I'm going to drop this horizon line a little bit, I think. Be like that. There. And our line fix that.
Color here. Let's just do this. No, let's not do it like that. Select this. No, let's reconsider that. Here. Yeah, that's the right place. I'll fade that out because of the fog. And let's go take a look at the reference image here real quick. Okay. This would be about, what, here? Is that what we're seeing? Right. Just past. So there'd be a little wall topper over here. I'm going to fold this up. And then drop back down here to the color distant wall. And this would be like this. And then another one like this. Yeah, something like that. I think that sits pretty. And then distant lines here, we can get rid of that. And get rid of that. I would have another one back here. Fill that one in here like that. There. There we go. So far, so good. So what? Ground is looking good. The next thing I think we need to do is, let's see, let's fold everything together and look at the composition as a whole. Reevaluate where we're at. Distant gazebo, color, that's good. Guards, gazebo, Enrica. Okay, that's feeling pretty good. Let's take this dark back here and go to ground, color, water. And let's grab our reference image again. We can conceal, let's see, blip, blip. Our water creeps around, so there should be 1, 2, 3 headstones that we could see, and the others are missing. So that'd be 1, 2, 3 back here. So I need to back this away. So this goes back here like that, and then it'll fade out. There. And that's going to get faded out by the fog, so I don't feel I need to put any real work into this patch here. Just get some color down on the ground, so that's visible fading out into the distance. And let's grab our headstones and line those things up. Tombstones, line art. Perfect. Let's grab 1, 2, 3 here like this. Copy, paste.
that. And let's look at our reference again real quick, make sure that those are properly placed. Headstones, 1, 2, 3. One of them should be here, and then middle point, and then obscured. Okay. Reference, drop that down, go back to our tombstones here, look at our alignment. Too big, smaller. Let's see. Skew down like that. These are way too close together somehow. So maybe that is accurate. Hold on. Let's take that into account. One, 2, 3. Clean those up. Like that. Just real brief. Now we get to look at the ground again because our ground is off. Line art for the far distance is here. Let's take this, bring it back to black. Drop it back down to 42. There we go. Something like that. And this line should extend here. Take this line here and shoot that off into the distance. Very good. Now we have those lines in place, so we can go back here with our color. We can grab this here and push that into the distance like that. Which we can then fade here like that. Sounds like, hey, cool, I'm up to speed on, guys. Right on. Sorry, I'm a little off. I just feel a little off today. My apologies for any gaps in quality. You're only as good as your last 2 streams, you know. But no, this is feeling pretty good. I'm happy with this. So we have the color there. Next thing I think I want to do is start. Let's get the guard out of the way, and we'll start working on the ground texture. Let's see, that sits pretty good. I can erase. Pull that forward there, and we have a line that we need to mask and erase. There we go. I feel like I can afford to make that whole thing disappear at this point, so I'm going to do that. Yeah. Hey, what's up? How familiar are you with the old school stuff? Currently reading City State of the Invincible Overlords. It indicates it's intricate as fuck. Anything from detailed legal systems to unique encounters for each street. It's overkill, but that kind of overkill that DM can easily mine for inspiration from. I am not familiar with City State of the Invincible Overlord specifically. I don't know which edition that came from or how old of a school you're talking about. But as long as the information is organized well, more detail is better than less, because the DM can always decide to lean into what's happening, or just delete layers of detail that you don't specifically need. So there is, yeah, I respect the detail that's in a lot, especially in a lot of OSR stuff. Like second edition in particular was just masterful with its design elements. But let's grab that color there. Working on the ground, which is going to be right line art here. That's going to work. And now we can make let's make the reference go away, but we still have burp there. Yeah, okay, cool. So we can afford to add gritty bits in. So let's get started with gritty bits. We're going to use our fractal cauliflower brush. This is what that brush looks like. If we were to be, let's see, blip, blop. There you go. Oh, there's fog in here. That's why it's breaking that up. But here's that shape, and you can see that they link together really well. But this is not the proper angle. I want to be at an angle roughly like this. To start filling these and see I can stack them around like this to make intricate interlocking fractal patterns with this brush. It doesn't have to be perfect. But you can see how it makes gritty ground surface stuff, which is what it's designed to do. Like that. So I can just lay that sort of stuff down on the soil. So we're going to be basically texturing grit like this in the soil first, and then we'll do a separate layer for the cobblestone that still exists. But I just want to create, it doesn't need to be thorough. I just need to dust each area with this so we can come back through with a similar eraser tool like this, and then tap at it to break it down. See how that makes the ground gritty. I'm just kind of feather dusting across here. Drop in this way and then erase upside down. And that makes the grittiness of the soil that we have in the map. I'm going back to the map texture here. You can see that's the same rough texture that we have on the ground. And then we have little colonies of crystal grit that are on the cobblestones as well. And once we layer that in, that's going to be a good foundation just for texture in the map in general that we can then further replicate in other portions. But we're keeping the brush small here on purpose. We can have a larger brush as we get closer, but right now we're working with a 30 pixel brush. We'll probably get like the 200 pixels over here, and then we can have colonies of crystals up here on the steps growing as well. So, and I feel like my music stopped. There we go. So, like 2E, right, Ron. Oh, was it? Thank you. It's from one of the first third-party publishers, Judges Guild. Oh, wow. I am not familiar with Judges Guild. Their stuff was hit or miss, but City State specifically has a kind of legendary status, kind of a legendary status in the community. Yeah, I'm not familiar with them. Oh, well. Gaps here like this. We'll reduce the size because we're moving further away from the camera down to what, 25? Yeah, that feels good. Here, oh, this is perfect. Lined up like that. And here.
further back still at 20 pixels, and that's pretty good. Fill that in here like that. And then go along the lines here. Let's go down to the line. Weird, there's a difference in soil color there. I'm not sure if I'm happy or sad about that. Maybe it is just what it is, huh? There's that, and then there's that. Let's add a masking layer to you as well. Yeah, this is all sorting itself out. Back to here. This is 30 pixels. Okay, now this is starting to freak me out. Okay, it's minuscule. We can just let that sit. There, some smudge work to resolve that problem. Get out of here. Back to texture. Black. Black texture. 35 pixels? Yeah, that feels right for around here. And then 30 pixels here to back it off. Fill it in here at 25. And 20. And then shit's just gonna get distant. There, just fill in some of that. Was it 40 here? Should be appropriate. We'll fill that in. I'm just pockmarking the area so there's enough texture for me to then erode and erase it. I'll drop that down in size for the distance. And when we break it up, the recurring shape of the brush won't be an apparent pattern like we have over here. That there's no way you can tell that was coming off of the same brush. So it's a good scattering tactic. It's it disperses pixels pretty well. Let's up the size here a smidge. My music stopped again. I don't know what's going on with you, Epidemic. Let's scroll down a bit. There, that should do. There, like that. What's going on? To put in perspective, when Goodman Games were done with what they wanted to reprint from D&D proper for the original adventures, incarnated license looks, so they did 5e. For 5e, they did Judge Guild. Oh, right on. Well, Goodman Games has a good reputation. I'm familiar with them. I now have a point of reference. Cheers. Do that. And let's keep doing that over here. What the deuce? Okay, maybe that'll jumpstart it. This music isn't jiving the way that it's supposed to. I'm probably going to go back and try YouTube studio music again. There's a ton of copyright-free music that I can use on stream. I'd like to retire Epidemic as my music stream. I think he's listening in and scared. Yeah, it just hasn't been. It's $17. It used to be $8 a month. It's $17 a month now. That's a little rich for my blood for a streaming service. Let's just dot this stuff in back here. And then we'll just erase the hell out of this stuff. I mean, at this side, at this resolution, there's not much texture actually going on here among these little pips. It's mostly just little blots of black at this point. Which is fine. Go over here, get a larger texture like that. So we got about a dozen illustrations left that we have to do, including this one, about a dozen illustrations. And I've been working, I work on some of what I feel is like the less interesting ones off screen, as well as layouts and stuff, which is an ongoing work of progress. But we're slowly but surely getting things done. We'll eventually be able to publish this thing, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll line up here like that. That goes like that, and now we're starting to get closer, so let's get to, yeah, 50-ish pixels feels pretty good over here. Hey, Timely Timer, keeping time. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, Dimensions of Time, for my ability to discern one moment for the next. And then a little bit bigger here, a little bit bigger here. There you go. So those are all our bare ground patches. So let's go through and start deleting it. This is a good size for this area over here. Reduce the size a bit as we push our way back in the page. Increase the size again as we move forward. See, these the eraser is leaving enough. The eraser tool, the brush shape that I'm using has enough negative space in it that when I do a little stipple tap of the eraser, it leaves grit behind. So it's really a good layering device for adding just a little bit of extra texture without having to actually spend any like real time on that texture. You tap in a bunch of dark and then use the same eraser upside down and erase, using the same tapping, erase the inverted negative space of that brush, and it ends up leaving little textury bits that just kind of blend into the environment. This far away, it doesn't need to have any real pronouncement, just the occasional little splotch difference to help indicate it. And then we'll come in through here, we'll just dot around on this a little bit, up the size of the brush a smidge. And now that grid is starting to come through a little bit more clearly. Over here, we can just tap, tap, tap. We'll reduce the size of the brush back here. Tap and erase.
I gotta be careful not to work the same area. Otherwise, the overlap will end up destroying the texture. But just a light dusting like this, just to dance across it with just like everywhere I step is an eraser. Just tap along the ground here, and that helps dissolve the shapes. So. Go up size of the brush a little bit since we're closer to this side. And here, use a larger eraser still. These little thread marks going through here. I'm happy with that. There. Let's increase the size of the brush again. And then again. Just a smidge. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Tap across like that. See, some of these patches are getting a little bit too bare for this level of resolution, so I need to tap them back in so I can destroy them again, so I can erase them again. There, that feels pretty good. Easy peasy. Let's add in a little bit more over here, just to dense it up a bit. There we go. That feels pretty good. Nice texture. There you go. Now we want to. So that is the ground layer here on the bare ground where the cobblestones are broken up. Let's go back in and look at the groundwork. I kind of want that cobblestone grid to actually be in the piece. It wouldn't be here. Maybe texture. How do I want to do this? What happens if I erase like that? Drop a gazebo back in. Yeah, let's do that. Fuck, that angle's off now. Damn it all. Let's get back into this shape here. let's leave all that stuff in place, but let's go here. I have to tilt this again. Distort. I was so busy fixing the top edge that I didn't realize that I was skewing the bottom here as well. There we go. That fixes it. But the pain of it all is that I am not going to be able to fake that stuff. So I guess I'm going to have to disable the layer mask and jump in here and actually paint out the grid. All right, because I want it. I want the grid. So I want the cobblestones to have the grid. So I need to incorporate it. So barf. Let's fix it. More distort. Okay, that should be lined up okay. Tap there, and then let's drop our line, stuff in, and yeah, it still lines up. Now it lines up really nicely. Yeah, that'll do. I just want this for the grid. Because I like having I like those squares. I want them to exist. So that is what we'll focus on. Hide that. Let's go here. Let's drop back to a round brush. Drop the size of it down to 2. Yeah, that's a good pixel line. And I'm just going to trace over these. Let's drop that gazebo back in. And then we'll erase what we don't need. This feels like a necessary step. Luckily, it's a very simple grid. And my music stopped again. What is going on with you, Epidemic Music? It does this occasionally. I don't know why. There we go. Nope. There. Very good. Okay, yeah, those are all lining up nicely. Now let's go. Let's get the gazebo out of the way. Paste. Copy, paste. That'll work. Merge these down.
That's our midpoint. Very good.
All right, and let's put another layer in over that so we can do the cross-hatched lines. Come on. Hit your mark, Kearney. Thank you. Good enough. Here. Good. On point. Next is here. Paste. Copy, paste. Good. And we merge these down. Next is this line. There we go. And this gazebo is a little low. I'll bring it up to alignment. And the music stopped again. Come on, Epidemic, you're embarrassing me in front of everybody. Enable shoveling. There, that should get us back on track. What time is it? 7:40? Give us 15 more minutes, and then I got to kick out of here for the day. And I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue with the architecture. And then tomorrow night we'll be back on for more Spelljammer. Merge down. That doesn't feel right. Let's just leave that like that. How is this? Feels slightly off. Let's free transform. Free transform and distort. There. You can't get more perfect than that online. Now I need to skew. Free transform. Skew the thing so its lines are upright again. Distort. Let's get that pushed around just a little bit. Nope. And somehow this line grid down here is not lining up. So let's just try to change the grid. Let's get rid of all that. Go back down here. Free transform. Maybe it'll be easier for us to change that grid. This was all lined up so nicely at one point, and something went wrong. Transform. So how can we, let's hit the distort button. Let's see if that can get us
There, these lines are lining up now, but this is off. So I need to free transform, expand the size of this a bit, and then distort some more. There, I wonder if this isn't a job for a perspective tool. Still off. Let's see what we can do. That's lining up. Is this the is this line actually the one that's in error? Hold on. Distort some more. Okay, so this is lining up, this is lining up, this is lining up. This line is off, so I think this is the one. I think this line is the problem. Ugh, all the intricacies, man, making them all work together is just rough. There and there, and this is all lining up okay. So that's not the problem. It's this line here that's the problem. So let's fix it. Hey, how about that? It's its own little line. So let's free transform and let's just give it a spin. Like that. It's a little bit too tilted. So let's skew it just a smidge. There, now that lines up, this lines up, that's good. That is good. And oh, it doesn't fuck up the stuff back here, so that's still good too. It's roughly aligned. I think I could actually bend this a little bit. Free transform, skew it just a smidge. There, that way this is lining up a little bit better with that. It's still a little off. Free transform. Let's give it a twist like that to line up there. And then let's go back to here, copy paste. Bring that in connection here. There we go. Okay, better. Better. That was easy. And we didn't have to destroy the piece to get it done. So cheers. Hey, what's up? Text is buried. There. They really do. They really do. I think the only ones that got permission to remake old adventures for 5e without having to do it on a DMsGuild, as far as I am aware, they're the only ones that WotC gave. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, right on, P. Peens? I don't know how to say your name. I know Pines. Maybe that's what it is. Pines 51. I'm going with Pines 51 because it looks like it's a pun off of Heinz, maybe the ketchup. Don't know. All right. Well, it's a privilege to have you here when you're here. So thank you. Distant gazebo. Let's drop that one down and bring it over just a bit. Yeah, that'll be fine. And now we can go back here to the ground, and we can go back to texture, and we can go back to line here, and here's the overlying texture. So let's add a layer mask here to get that grid out of the spaces where there shouldn't be any grid lines because the cobblestones are all broken up. So let's erase that. I'm just using a masking layer in case I need them back at some point. There, I'm going to break that up and get rid of that there. And then here, jump in here, just mash this all out. Mash that all out.
here. And let's grab that distant gazebo again and increase its size so it lines up with the lines that it's on. There we go. That's overlaying the ground. Hey, what's up? Milk in my native language. Yeah, right on. Get out of here. I'll either be here or I won't. But if my day is done by the time you come back, you know I'll be here tomorrow. So, cheers to that, my guys. Okay, so this is coming along really nicely. I like the arrangements. We can take this here and drop the cobblestones a lot so that they're more receded into the background, but still present. And now we've got a grit layer here for the soil. Let's add on another grit layer. We're running out of, it's 7:50. We're running out of time. I think I can probably get a good amount of groundwork dusted in here. We're looking at around this size. So we're just going to start laying in colonies of crystal. We're looking at, 90 pixels at this scale. Okay. I think that's larger than we need. Let's try. Let's try dropping that down to 60. Yeah, 60. And we'll have like a 100-point font up here in the foreground. But back here it's 60. And then we'll transition down to 50 and 40, 30, 20, 10, and it won't even matter at that point. Hey, Steve, it's good to see you, my man. How you doing? Thanks a lot for being here. Almost done for the day. I stream Monday through Fridays doing artwork like this, and when we finish this book, we're just going to grab another book and start doing the artwork for that one. Maybe I'll do a palette cleanser and do some Bob Ross landscape artwork before diving into the next book. I feel like I might want to do that. I love doing Bob Ross art. It's so cleansing. It's fun just to grab a landscape photo from like Sweden or some real place like Vietnam or something, just some beautiful environment, and then just painting that photo as using Bob Ross techniques. So I might go ahead and indulge in one of those before we start in on the next book when we finish, because there's gonna be some hang time between actually finishing the illustrations of this book and then stringing it all up in the page layouts so that it sits inside of the Word document and fuse it into a PDF. There will be a time delay between us finishing these illustrations and actually getting the book published. Hopefully only by like a week or two, but there will be a delay. So that while that delay exists, I don't technically have a project to work on between the two books, so I'll probably just do a Bob Ross palette cleanser. And then we'll start looking at doing some book covers for the other books that we know we have coming down the pipe. Like the Spelljammer subclasses, the Martial Powers book, the Bastion campaigns. These will all be books, so these all need book covers. And a book cover might take me, 3 or 4 weeks to do if I have a ton of detail to it. If it's a detailed illustration that's going to be on the book cover. If it's like a diagram or some sort of like geometric symbol or something, then obviously it won't take nearly as long. is. Right. Inconsequential. There we go. So we fill in the terrain and then we erase it. I need clean stipples so that there's a little bit of texture and like negative space dotted into these things. Considering the size, like if I drag my pen at all, it ends up making a smudge instead of a dot. Like that. So I have to be mindful. What's up? Text. Hey, Defected, how you doing, my man? Loving the pixel art that you've been placing on the website. And I know there was some music that you created, but I honestly haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. But it's on my mind. That in, and then here, fill this in like that. So, yo, yeah, you bet, man. And your work is good, folks. For anyone that doesn't know, Defected that's in the chat here, he does really, really good pixel art. He's got his own channel. Go check him out. And that's my timer telling me that I am just out of time. Just good timing. Just gonna dot this in. Shut up. Thank you. There and oops. That just about covers all the terrain. I'm gonna leave it like that. It's a hot mess right now, I know, but it's supposed to be. When we come back through, we're gonna hit all of this with an eraser. Maybe I'll do that tonight, just as a meditative process. But when we hit this with the eraser, it's gonna have the same gritty residue remnant leftover look to it, like we have. We have to fill in all this space, and then we delete the space to open up the texture. And then once we do that, we'll be able to do similar for the grit that's going to be on the actual gazebo up here. And now that we've got, see, like this adding in texture, it adds a lot. Like this graveyard is getting busy with like just pixel information. So once we calm down that grit on the ground and erase a lot of it, we'll be able to clean up the tombstones. And then we'll clean up the gazebo, and then we can start the guards that we need to. So we have the fog in the sky here that kind of blots that stuff out. Let's drop the opacity on that a bit. And then we have our guards that are walking here through the. It's difficult to see them right now. There they are. And those will eventually be like actual characters, of course. And then once we get to the gazebo finalized, we'll be able to rebuild Enrica and have her properly hiding here and remove that placeholder. But this will be a decent piece, and we'll start layering in the fog layers to create atmospheric disturbance, to push the gravestones further away, and to muddle out this background here so it just kind of like bleeds out into the fog. I think it's gonna end up looking okay. I'm liking the process so far. I like where we're at with it. I think everything is coming along nicely, so we can get rid of that. We'll keep that fog layer in place there for now. But we'll be doing just like layers and layers of fog to build up that that obscurement
and to deplete the background details. So get the details right and then obscure them so that it looks more natural. That the level of detail here matching the level of detail here in the foreground, and then hazing out the stuff back here will desaturate the background, and that'll make the foreground, even though it'll have the same level of pixel information, like the same resolution, it'll look closer because it's more saturated and more contrast and the detail won't be different, but the contrast and the saturation will be sharper, so it'll look further in the foreground. That's the method that we're going to use, and it should work. And most of the fog is going to take place, like the visible area of this map is actually about like this. And we're going to see back here, this layer here is mostly obscured, and then beyond that into the sky here is 100% obscured. So heavy obscurement here, but we'll still be able to see details through it. And then here in the foreground, we'll have much lighter fog, and then about like this. Let's do like this. Right, banding. So total obscurement, one layer of fog, another layer of fog, and then here in the foreground we won't have any fog up along in here like that. So one layer, two layer, and then no layers of fog. That'll help create the different banding of distance that are built into the visibility obscurement of the adventure. So, having said all that, it is definitely time for me to go. It is 8:01. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me, everybody. I really appreciate you. We've got a bunch of new subscribers that have jumped onto the channel this week. We've gone from 603 to 609 this week. God bless you, folks. I'm really glad this is interesting to people. We're trying to climb to 1,000 subscribers and ramp up our view time. So. Thanks a lot for kicking through and hanging out. I'm here Monday through Friday in the morning like this doing artwork, and then we do actual game design using 5e D&D 24 game engine. We do that on Mondays and Thursday nights. I'm out of here for now, guys. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Director, thank you. Yeah, I think there's more and more interest in art production happening on YouTube, and I think that's a natural counterculture. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Remind me, and we'll talk about my thoughts on where AI is going. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.